since this is my first YouTube video I'm going to be posting, I do want to tell you a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Pangea North Star, and my first name, Pangea, means unity. This is my chosen name, and I chose Pangea because Pangea is the name of the earth mass before there was a tectonic plate shift that caused the earth, the land mass, to break up in all these different continents. That is a a theory. Of course, there are lots of things we don't know if we know if we know. we kind of have to go off of what we read or maybe what we've been shown in the spirit. Okay, so I like I like that theory, so I chose that name. And North Star represents your purpose, your mission in life. Okay, the reason that you are here on the planet. Okay, so unity with my purpose for being here on the planet, that represents who I am. So that is my chosen name, Pangea North Star. Also, Earth and Sky Mama. Pangea represents the Earth, North Star represents the sky. So those are the two elements represented in my name. So anyways, I do love to share a lot of things that of a spiritual nature that, you know, are working for me. I do not call myself a teacher, but I do consider myself a sharer. So that's what I'll be doing on this channel, is just sharing a lot of things that are working for me in terms of spiritual evolution. Okay. Now, who is your highest self? Who is your highest self? This subject, I think, is very, very, very appropriate because this is a term we hear all the time now. Highest self, highest self. Everybody's saying my highest self, or I was talking to my highest self, or I was shown by my highest self, or I prayed to my highest self. I'm getting in touch. I'm aligned with my highest self. Who is your highest self? Okay, so I just want to share what came to me about this. And I did actually make some notes. So if you see me kind of looking over or kind of like leaning in, do not be afraid. This is just me looking at the notes that I brought, because I do want to make sure that I'm sharing all of my points with you in this video. So your highest self is the version of you that has already passed every test you are facing. Every test you are currently facing and every test you ever will face. Your highest self is a version of you that has already passed those tests. Okay? Follow along. This is going to get a little deep, okay? What we're talking about is the most fully self-realized, most evolved, self-actualized version of yourself. Okay? Now, this is the version of you that fully committed to passing every test so that you may one day return home to source. Okay? I'm going to say that again. This is the version of you that fully committed to passing every test so that you may one day return home to source. Okay? Now, if you are willing, this is exciting news. If you are willing to tap in to this version of yourself, your highest self is literally here to feed you the answers. Your highest self is here to literally feed you the answers, is currently feeding you the answers to every single thing you are facing and every test, every issue, problem you ever will face. Guys, if y'all see light in the background, it's a stormy night here. So again, perfect time to make this video. Lots of electricity in the air, lots of energy in the air. If we lose power, I do plan to continue with the video. So I got some candles. I got candles lit nearby, just in case. So, anyways, now, um, to hear more about this, stay tuned. We're going to keep going here. Now, we are talking about your highest self, the version of yourself that has already passed every test and it's here to feed you the answers. Okay. So, before we talk about how to tap into your highest self, we need to make this version of you real in your mind. Okay. So, for anyone who's struggling with this, I want to say that in order for this to be real, for you to understand there is a version of yourself that currently exists that has already passed every test, and the fact that you can tap into that version of yourself, the first thing you got to understand is that there's no such thing as time. Okay, time is not real. Okay, time is not real. All right, past, present, and future do not really exist. What do I mean by this? I'm saying the days, months, and years are only here as a reference point. Those words, days, months, years, those words are only to be used as a reference point. Okay? In other words, these words are a construct. Hours, days, weeks, months, years. These words only have a meaning because we all agree that they have a meaning, right? But in reality, they do not exist, okay? In reality, they are just a tool that we use, right? So that we can all be on the same page when we're talking about something. Like if people talk about, oh, this era, the Renaissance era, right? We all know what an era is. We all know what the Renaissance era was around about when that was, right? We all know what we're referring to. Or if I tell you I'm going to meet you at the corner for lunch at 3 o'clock, we're using 3 o'clock as a reference point, right? But in reality, it's not 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock don't exist, okay? So when you understand that there's not really a past, present, and future, but that all things are actually all happening at the same time, okay? All things are actually happening at the same time, okay? So what we're really talking about here is dimensions of reality, okay? So this dimension of reality that we live in, we will call this our lifetime. Think about it. There's that word time again. It don't exist. I'm going to leave it alone. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying, okay? I hope I'm doing a good job of explaining this, okay? These are all really just dimensions. When you evolve to another dimension, okay? And what we're really talking about, what's at the core of this conversation, is self-directing what dimension you are going to evolve to, okay? Self-directing what dimension you will evolve to after this lifetime, okay? Now, and then again, let's say one more thing about the time. The reason why we have to use time and we experience time in these 24-hour chunks, when we experience life at 24 hours at a time, first of all, because we all agree that it's 24 hours in a day, right? But our soul is housed in this lump of flesh. We're housed in this body that can only experience life in certain blocks, and then you got to go to sleep. It's a computer. Your computer has to take the information that you learned today and add it to the files that contain all the other days that you have experienced, right? That make up your lifetime, okay? All right, now moving on. Now, I want to talk about ways to align with your highest self, okay? And I'm going to try to make this quick. I don't want this to be a super long video. There are two major ways I want to talk about aligning with your highest self, okay? First thing you want to do is get into a habit of aligning yourself with the energy of your highest self, okay? And you want to do this on a daily basis. You want to do this quite often, okay? Now, this is a great starting point, Okay? So when I'm talking about your highest self, the first thing I want you to do is recognize, again, all these different dimensions that exist, right? There's all these different, or realities, let's say that, these different realities that exist. And I'm sure people, you've heard of this quantum theory, quantum field, um, which is referring to many different realities or dimensions that exist, and there is a you in each dimension. Okay, so I want you to, in your mind, picture the quantum field, picture all these different realities, all these different versions of you, and align yourself with the one that you want to become. The version of yourself is great and wonderful and evolved as you can imagine yourself. Okay, the version of yourself that will serve you the best. Okay, that will serve your highest calling as you understand it to be today. Okay, so picture that version of yourself in detail. What does she or he wear? What does she or he eat? What does she or he listen to? What does she or he do on a daily basis? How do you sustain your lifestyle? Um, do you have a partner? Do you live alone? What do you drive? Okay. And what I'm talking about now is aligning yourself with the best version of you, the version of you that you want to manifest in this lifetime. Let's just do it like that, okay? Let's explain it that way, okay? And it's all going to wrap around. We're gonna come back to the highest self, okay? But right now, I want you to think about being very, very specific in picturing the version of yourself that you want to become, the version of yourself that is now in the quantum field. I want you to choose that reality and begin to align yourself with it. First, by meditating and thinking of all these specific details that we talked about. Think of how it feels. How does it feel to be this wonderful you that's maybe on the beach, maybe wearing all white, maybe, living somewhere really exotic, whatever it is for you, okay? What does that feel like? What is the wonderful, beautiful emotion that wells up inside of you? Okay, allow that emotion to become very real, okay? And then I want you to take that, whatever that emotion is, it could be peace, it could be calm, it could be whatever. I want you to keep focusing on that. Allow that to build until you get to the vibration of gratitude, okay? I want you to raise your vibration to the vibration of gratitude and become very grateful for all of these wonderful things that you are being allowed to embody, right? Look at that lightning. We're hitting on something, y'all. I want you to allow your vibration to raise to the vibration of gratitude and stay there. Stay with it. It's going to feel really, really good. Okay? Stay with it. All right? You may call this visualization. You may call it meditation. You may call it prayer. But I want you to do this every day. Do it every day for 20 minutes. It's an excellent practice. Okay? So, this is also the same practice that you can use if you are trying to manifest a particular thing in your life. Okay, you're going to picture yourself doing and having that thing. Okay, but we're not going to go all the way down that road to manifestation. Even though this is a form of manifestation, we'll make another video for that. Okay, now as you do this over time, this picture of yourself is going to become more and more clear. And when you do this, it's also really important that you open up a space inside of yourself, clear a space inside of yourself, and allow that image of yourself to come to you. Okay, this is not where you want to open up a space inside of yourself and then force all these images of something you saw on TV or something that feels forced. Okay, I want you to open up a space inside of yourself and allow spirit to guide you to what this best version of yourself, what this looks like. Okay, now you're going to do this 20 minutes a day. You're going to allow yourself to raise your vibration to the vibration of gratitude. and you're going to stay there. Okay. Now, as you continue to do this throughout your life and you make this a daily practice, okay, I want you to add a very important step. Okay. Now you're starting off imagining yourself as this, we're just going to use the word future here for reference, this future version, this best version, this evolved version of yourself, right? You're going to picture yourself as that version. And as that version of yourself, you're going to speak to the you are today, right now, in this dimension, right? And I want you to show yourself compassion. Show yourself compassion. If there's something that you are struggling with that you really want to overcome, I want you to forgive yourself for struggling with that. Okay? I want you to tell yourself that it's okay. Okay? I want you to tell yourself, I'm so sorry that this is difficult for you. I'm so sorry that this feels, this is sad right now, or this is, frustrating right now. I'm so sorry that you're experiencing this. Okay? And then I want you to imagine several different ways that you can overcome whatever it is that you're facing. Okay? But you really, you want to give yourself a giant hug on the inside. You want to embrace yourself and accept yourself for the struggle, even in the midst of your struggle. Release the tension of it all. Okay? Clear a space inside of yourself. All right? And allow alternative paths to come to you. Okay? Now, what's going to happen, and I encourage you guys, to speak aloud about what's happening, okay, and how you feel. Now, I don't want you to say, I'm not saying to say negative things like, oh, I just can't win, or I'm always a loser, or whatever, something like that, because we don't want to speak things into existence. But it's okay to say, right now I'm struggling with this particular XYZ. I forgive myself for that. Clear your mind about it. And as you speak the thoughts, that the problem, the challenge, whatever that thought is that's looping in your mind, when you let it out of your mouth and you clear that throat chakra, the next chakra is your third eye chakra, your intuition. And you're actually clearing a space in which the answers will appear, okay? You're clearing a space in which the answers are going to appear, okay? I'm going to make a whole nother video about that. Okay. Now, you're doing this now real time for yourself, picturing yourself as your highest self and showing compassion to the version of who you are today. And the other practice I want you to develop is on a regular basis, picture the version of yourself you used to be, your younger self, some challenge you faced in the past, okay, where it's particularly, in particular, ones that you don't feel great about, especially if there's something that you feel you failed at. I want you to show compassion and forgiveness toward yourself for that. Or if it's something that you did, a test you feel like you did pass, you are also free to think of different ways that you could have passed that test, other alternate routes you could have taken that may have also worked. Alternate routes you could have taken, that would have also worked. But it's more effective to focus on the things you feel like you didn't do so well. Or maybe it was something that you eventually came out of it, but it just took you a while. It took you a long time, okay? So I want you to talk to that version of yourself, show compassion to that version of yourself for what you were going through, and tell yourself, well, you have the option of X, Y, Z. And yes, it's okay to use, the point is you want to use the information that you now have in retrospect, right? Looking back, you now have a lot of information that you didn't even know then at that time, right? But I want you to tell yourself, inside of yourself, tell yourself, well, you know, so-and-so is about to XYZ. So it's okay if you want to do this, this, and that. You see what I'm saying? This is about to change in your life. So you can go ahead and make a different decision. Or when you make this decision, you'll see that it causes this type of change in your life. Okay? I hope this is making sense. All right? It's very, very important to go back in time and show compassion and give your old self, the version of your old self, the answers to problems that you were facing at that time, right? Now check this out. I want you to commit now. Commit. I'm saying a dirty word here, y'all. Commit. I want you to become committed to doing this as a practice for the rest of your life. Okay? So what will happen if you commit to doing this for the rest of your life? Eventually, this version of yourself that you're picturing yourself becoming and beginning to allow yourself to embody the characteristics of that individual in your day-to-day life, right? Because, you know, you're not going to be able to become that version of yourself unless you allow your thoughts, words, and actions to align with that desired outcome, right? But you're in your day-to-day life, allowing yourself to embody characteristics that's going to be consistent with that. But when you commit to doing this the rest of your life, you're embodying those characteristics, you're imagining that person, you're showing compassion toward the old version of you. Eventually, the person that you are in real time, right? The person that you are in real time, just imagine, say this is a timeline. It's going, the person you are in real time is going this way, right? And say this is the future over here. Let's make believe this is the future over here. And the future you, who you're now committing to become, and you commit to this practice of always going back and showing compassion toward this today version of you. Eventually, these versions are going to meet in the middle. Okay? Eventually, the answers that you're seeking today are going to catch up with the compassion that you're sending back to yourself from the future. The answers that you're sending yourself back from the future. Okay? I hope that made sense to y'all. I hope I was able to explain that in a way that makes sense and it's going to be useful to you in your life. This has been extremely useful to me in my life, and it is amazing how many more answers, like details to answers, are coming to me now. And I am at a place where I'm meeting myself in the middle. That is how I feel able to embody that name, Pangea North Star. Okay? So I'm gonna end the video, but again, to wrap it up, the final thought is, when you continue to do this throughout your life, you will meet yourself in the middle. But what you're also doing is creating such a high state of awareness that you can carry that awareness into the next dimension, into the next version of yourself. Okay? As you evolve into that next version of yourself in the quantum field, and eventually come that version of your highest self who has successfully completed the journey to become one with Source. Okay? Once you reach a certain level of awareness, you have a certain amount of influence over the journey of your soul, the unfolding of your soul, right? Which is what it is we're playing out here on Earth. Okay? So with that level of awareness, you can continue into your next, let's say, lifetime. We're going to use that word again. And continue your journey to becoming your highest self, who is on a journey to become one with Source. Okay? Thank you guys so much for listening, for sticking with this video. It's a little bit long. I'm going to attempt to master not having the video so long, but I do thank you guys for joining me. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your night or day. Peace and love to everyone.